Hello everyone. This is probably the last stream I'm gonna do on Forgotten City. It's been a pretty fun game. Last time I couldn't quite see the whole ending through, and so this time I'm probably gonna try and get the persuasion one. See how that goes, and then listen to the characters, what they have to say. Yeah, that's basically where the ending is, but I want to get there in a bit of a different way. I should be able to, I think, from the Grand Temple. Unless you have to do some other stuff in order to get the persuasion stuff and so on. So we'll see about that. It's a very dialogue-driven game. And it has action elements that I think are kind of don't really belong there. I guess it's because it used to be a Skyrim mod. They kind of had to let it be, so to say. This almost looks like maybe that's a camera thing. It looks angled kind of, but if you get close to it, it's like 90 degrees. I think he hears. No, not Nargal, yeah. So let's see if I can persuade them. Also, because it's like basically the ending, it's probably going to be a very short stream. Maybe like 30 minutes or so.
And here you are. Allow me to introduce myself. As you have already gathered, I've been known by many names. Nergal to the Sumerians, Osiris to the Egyptians, Hades to the Greeks, and Pluto to the Romans. But the one constant through it all has been my title, God of the Underworld. And I've been watching you with curiosity, mortal, ever since your arrival. You are unlike the others, aren't you? And what is more, you carry a weapon that was never intended for mortals to wield, and you do it so brazenly. But there will be time for your reckoning later. First, as a reward for undoing the desecration of my obelisk, I will allow you to satisfy your curiosity. Ask what you will.
It's interesting that his eyes are blue and Karen's are red. I wonder if there's like any significance to that. Are you responsible for the golden rule?
That is merely the name your people have given to it, but yes, it is my doing.
I've seen some terrible things here that you didn't consider sin. How could you let them happen?
Do you plan to speak in sweeping generalizations, or are you going to give me an example?
Death, bondage.
You speak of the moneylender. How is that inconsistent with the rule?
He wouldn't want to be trapped in a 30-year labor contract because of a loan.
And he would never have signed a contract pledging his labor for 30 years. All he did was enforce the terms of a contract signed voluntarily by others.
The whole concept of debt bondage like slavery is unethical. It's illegal under international law where I'm from.
Ignoring your irritating sense of moral superiority, this is interesting. I'm curious, how do people escape poverty where you're from?
It is customary to take out a loan to buy a house, and in some places to pay for an education.
I see. And how long might it take such a person to repay their debt?
It depends, typically decades, sometimes their entire life.
I fail to see how your system of loans is significantly different to a debt bondsman signing over his labor for 30 years.
It's not the same thing.
Supposing you're right, then my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want?
No, of course not. Never mind.
Now tell me, What other sins do you believe I have overlooked?
Experiments on golden statues.
The midwife in the palace, yes. How is that inconsistent with the rule?
She won't want to be experimented upon if she was gilded.
The rule is do unto others, meaning other people. Those statues are something else now. Bloodless shadows, mere shapes of their former selves. They are forsaken. What happens to them is no concern of mine.
That seems like an extremely literal interpretation of the rule.
Applying this rule always requires us to interpret the meaning of the words. A literal interpretation helps to minimize the ambiguities of your primitive language.
If our language is full of ambiguity, doesn't that make the rule inherently subjective and unreliable?
Supposing you're right, and my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want?
No, of course not.
Now tell me, what other sins do you believe I have overlooked?
Suicide.
I've seen no such thing, but in any case, taking one's own life is a self-directed act. It is not one that is done to others, however they may be affected by it. Therefore, it cannot be said that one who commits suicide has done anything unto others.
I disagree with that.
Supposing you're right, and my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want?
No, of course not.
Now tell me, what other sins do you believe I have overlooked?
It's no wonder people say the gods are cruel. This just shows how unreliable and subjective your moral code is. You're no better at judging right from wrong than any human.
Do you honestly think you could do better?
No, but that's my point. Nobody's grasp of the right or wrong is so perfect they can be trusted with all this power. You've become a tyrant.
I should strike you down for that.
And if you did, you'd be proving my point.
Now, did you have any other questions before your reckoning?
Oh, I guess I don't have enough evidence for him. That could be the case. Because I think it's supposed to be continuing after that. Am I right? Let me look that up actually. So no, I just have to ask him to end the golden rule, basically.
Very well.
No, I
That is
cannot.
merely the...
Maybe it's somewhere here?
Very well.
What is this place?
It is...
It's the underworld, okay.
Of course.
What's your story? Let's talk about something else.
As you...
I guess I cannot because I have the Proserpina's crown.
Good. Then only it has long been within my power to see into the hearts of mortals and weigh their deeds in life. But when I peer into you, I see only a blank slate, as if you did not exist until you appeared in this city. How is this possible? Charon, where did you find this one?
I do not remember ferrying you. How did you come here?
Maybe you're forgetting. Maybe you're getting forgetful in your old future. Age? No, I'm from the future.
If that is true, then I sense the intervention of someone powerful.
How did you come to be in this time, mortal? Who brought you here?
He cannot know.
I was hoping you could tell me.
I do not know. My kin departed long ago, and Proserpina has slumbered for 3,000 years.
Shouldn't you know this as god of the underworld?
Tread lightly, mortal. Enough of this. It seems I will need to put your reckoning on hold for now. But answer this. Why have you come here? What is it you seek?
I'd like you to put an end to the golden rule.
Your hubris is amusing, so I will allow you to make your case. But I warn you, if you anger me or waste my time with lies or wrong-headed arguments, you face death here. So, tell me, why should I put an end to the so-called golden rule?
If you're doing this for love, you should know that Proserpine doesn't love you. This is just not gonna work. Okay, let me return to my chat so I can see it. How can you expect us to live without sin if you can't do it yourself?
That is a very serious accusation, mortal. What sin have I committed? What evidence do you have to support it?
You've trapped people in the city against their will. You've given terrible punishments to hundreds of people, some for minor sins and some who committed no sins at all.
Every one of those people was guilty of failing to ensure their peers lived virtuously. They failed collectively, and so they were punished collectively. The Romans understand this, as did the Greeks before them.
If our positions were reversed, you wouldn't want me to punish you for the sins of other people.
Ah, but I am a god, and you are a mortal. Why would you expect me to treat you as I treat my own kind? You are not a peer. You are not a respected equal. Let me ask you this. Do you treat insects as you wish to be treated? Do you care for their well-being as you would your fellow man? Do you ensure they have food and shelter and protection from predators? Do you give them rights?
No.
Of course not, because that would be absurd, just as it would be absurd for me to treat your kind as equals.
What makes your kind superior to mine?
Where to begin? Our lifespans exceed yours by thousands of years, in which time we accumulate vast wisdom and a mastery of technology you cannot begin to imagine.
Why does wisdom and technology make you superior?
Because that is the source of our power over you.
So you think you're not obliged to treat us fairly because you're more powerful than us?
You could say that.
What was it the Roman Stoics said? Treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you.
My kin have no superiors.
Everyone has superiors. There is always someone more powerful, if not now, then in the future. That sounds arrogant. Perhaps you're not as different from humans as you think. Should I say that? That sounds arrogant.
Bah! For a moment I thought you might have been building to a point. But I see now you are just a hubristic little creature.
Okay, let's try that again. How can you expect us to live without sin?
That is a very...
Given punishments. If our positions were reversed, no. Your kind and mine can't be so different given that you're in love with one of us. Okay, what makes your kind superior to mine?
Where to begin?
Why does wisdom and technology make you superior?
That is the...
So you think you're not obliged to treat us fairly because we're more powerful?
You could say that.
What was it the Roman Stoics said?
My kin have no...
Everyone has superiors, there is always someone more powerful, if not other in the future.
I suppose there is a hierarchy among my kin, with Jupiter at the top.
So, are you treating humans the way you would wish Jupiter to treat you?
Make your point, mortal.
Yeah, I'm saying if you can't follow your own rule, how can you expect humans to?
Let me ponder that for a moment. If you are right, then it would follow that all this time I have been in the wrong. But no, the very thought of it grieves me. How can I accept your argument when doing so would make me a tyrant and a monster?
It's the truth. You've committed atrocities and you need to own up to it.
Your hubris grows tiresome. You will make a fine statue.
What? It doesn't seem like he is convinced. That's strange.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
He's basically like, nope.
Suffer in eternal torment.
Yeah, let's just load the ending then. Doesn't seem like he can be convinced really. At least not in my playthrough. Maybe I missed something. Last episode of
There he is.
I've talked to Galerius and Equitia. Dooley, I don't remember, maybe I haven't.
Hello, I'm Dooley.
I remember who you are, Dooley.
Galerius said you're very nice and a big helper.
There he
Thank you for getting us out of the bad
There he
place.
is.
I didn't like it.
What are you doing with yourself these days?
I live at Galerius and Equitia's house. They look after me now and help me remember when I forget things, like brushing my teeth.
I guess it was good to see you again, Dooley.
Bye bye.
Hey,
Hi there, I'm Horatius.
Hi, Horatius.
I understand we have you to thank for giving us a second chance at life, and reuniting Scintilla with us as well. So, thank you.
Whatever happened to your buddy Demetrius?
He's not my... Oh, I see what you did there. Good one. He had more trouble adapting than most. He got himself disqualified from the UFC.
What?
So he started some kind of underground blood sport tournament, like we had in Rome. Suppose it appealed to people's baser instincts. And they say he made some good coin, killing a bunch of men like that. But his luck finally ran out, and his life along with it. You know what they say. Live by the sword, die by the sword.
Sounds like he got what he deserved.
You're not wrong.
What are you doing with yourself these days?
I'm living up north and studying in the military academy in Modena. I'm going to be an officer one day. The world's changed a lot. But some things stay the same. Would you believe we're still studying military tactics from my time? Alexander the Great, Caesar, Hannibal Barca. Still, I have to keep challenging myself to let go of old ways of thinking and embrace the new. As Seneca wrote, the ones who pioneered our paths aren't our masters, but our guides.
It's a good quote. It was good to see you again, Horatius.
And you. Farewell.
Cynthia.
I take it you're the Oracle. Thanks for coming.
Good to see you again, Cynthia.
Actually, I changed my name to Cynthia. I didn't want to be associated with Sentius. after what happened. I'm not sure if you heard, but after you drove Pluto off, Proserpina emerged from the Great Temple. She knew right away what none of us had figured out about that psychopath. He'd been keeping my little sister locked up in the upper cistern all that time. But he's been dealt with. You know what? The important thing is, we'll never see him again.
What happened to Sentius?
He's still there, all alone. The last golden statue in the underworld. Trapped in a metal shell, slowly losing his mind until the end of time. Eternal torment. Just what he deserves, if you ask me.
That's interesting. That's good. What are you doing with yourself these days?
Anything I want. I'm a woman of means in a vast new world. I can go wherever and do whatever I please. Of course, I mostly just stay in my villa and have my servant Alexa summon things for me, because it's just awful out there. Barbarians everywhere.
Nice servant. Okay, it was good to see you.
You too. See you around.
Yulia.
Hello again.
Oh, I think I've talked to her. Don't remember what she was doing though. Maybe a doctor. I don't remember. What are you doing with this all these
Oh, I
days?
barely recognize myself. I'm living in a house share in London with my one
Yes.
girlfriend. And I'm studying English at university.
English at
Eventually,
university.
I want to travel the world and write about it. Turns out, it's about 30 times bigger than the Roman Empire ever was. Did you know there are entire continents Rome never knew existed? And you can travel almost anywhere in an aircraft, which is rather like flying on a Pegasus, but much more comfortable. Oh, sorry, you already know all that, of course. I'm just so excited. There's so much to see and learn and write about.
Glad you're happy. Was
You
good to see
too.
you.
If you're ever in London,
Yeah. If I'm ever in London.
You're welcome.
Let's maybe... Don't remember if I talked to Lucretia. Don't think so.
Long time no see.
Hey, Lucretia.
Lucy is fine. I'm making an effort to blend in, as you can see. We are all trying to keep a low profile. If the world knew we died 2,000 years ago and were suddenly brought back to life 12 months ago, they'd never leave us alone. Speaking of which, I wanted to say thank you in person. I'd say the gods smile on you, but I hear you drove the last of them off. So...
Yeah, that's true. What were you doing with yourself these days?
I'm studying to get into medical school. As much as I resented the responsibility of keeping everyone in the city alive, when it ended, I realized I missed it. So I guess I'll just keep saving the world, if begrudgingly, one patient at a time.
Yeah. It was good to see you.
You too. Don't be a stranger.
Georgius.
Greetings. You must be the legendary Oracle. It is a sincere privilege to finally make your acquaintance. I am Georgius.
Good to see you too.
I am told we have you to thank for freeing us from Hades, and for that, I am most grateful.
What are you doing with yourself these days?
I am reacquainting myself with Greece. It has changed so much over the last 2,000 years, I barely recognize it. This is at once heartbreaking and thrilling. Perhaps one day, once I have seen all of this new Greece and sampled her delights, I will settle down in Santorini in a villa overlooking the Azure Aegean Sea. I hope you will join me there and regale me with the story of how you faced off against the fearsome god of the underworld and won.
Consider me there. It was good to see you again.
You too, my friend.
For be a hermit philosopher.
I take it you're the oracle everybody's talking about. It's a pleasure to finally meet you.
We've met before though, I wouldn't expect you to remember it.
We have. I'm sorry, I don't remember. In any case, I'm Philip. I never thought I'd leave that cave, let alone the city. And now I'm living in the 21st century. What a time to be alive. And it seems I have your catabasis to thank for it.
What's catabasis? Let's look that up. A descent? Oh, a catabasis is a journey to the underworld. It's interesting. Associated with Greek mythology and classical mythology more broadly, where the protagonist visits the Greek underworld, also known as Hades. Yeah, I guess so. What are you doing with yourself these days?
I'm working as a consultant to the Faculty of Classics at Cambridge University, helping fill the odd gap in their knowledge. Not that I need the money, but I do love being around enlightened minds again.
I guess catabasis is like a word that's close to catacombs or something. They both mean something under.
My sincere thanks once again.
It was good to see you again, Philip. What about Fabia?
You're the one we've been waiting for. I'm Fabia.
Fabia, right. Hi,
I
Fabia.
wanted to say thanks for sending Galerius to save my life. I don't know how you knew, but I would have been crushed by that shrine for sure.
Hey, you're welcome.
I'm just so happy to be here with you and everyone together again, even if it's just for one more night.
What are you doing with yourself these days?
Well, it's not like I have to work with all the silver Charon gave me, so I just do what makes me happy. Mostly that means baking for my friends and looking at memes while binging TV shows in yoga pants. What a time to be alive.
Damn, it sounds so strange when they say it like that. Sound like a time well spent.
Oh, it really is.
Okay, it was good to see you.
You too.
Some soiree, innit?
Yeah, he must be in London.
We meet again, old friend.
Hi, this is...
I wanted to express my sincere appreciation for what you did. If it wasn't for you, I'd never been able to sell all those useless old relics I accumulated. Whatever you did in that temple made me a very wealthy man. Thank you.
He sold all this stuff. You're welcome.
Most gracious of you.
What are you doing with yourself these days?
I took the money I made from selling my trinkets and started investing in the stock market. That's where the real money is now. In fact, I was hoping to ask your advice, you being the Oracle and Future Seer and all that, on which stocks I should invest in now. I can't decide between fossil fuels, tobacco, gambling and arms. What would you recommend?
I can't really see the future, I'm afraid.
Oh, don't be like that. You can tell your old pal Dacius. I won't take no for an answer.
Oh, I can only lie to him. Print media. Okay, let's say print media is going to make a huge comeback.
Oh, of course, yeah. I was just thinking the same thing. I'll go home and buy up as much stock as I can tonight. I'm going to make a bloody fortune. Of course, don't let me keep you. Thanks again for the tips, my friend.
Yeah. Hopefully you're going to be fine.
Good evening.
What about you, Octavia?
Oh, hello. It's lovely to meet you. I've heard so much about you.
Nice to see you too.
I'm thankful that you're here. I was sure the person who drove off the last pagan god would have more important things to do than visit the likes of us. But thank you for coming and for saving our lives. What you did was extraordinary, and I'll never forget it.
What are you doing with yourself these days?
I'm living in Rome again, in a charming little flat by the Tiber. Not far from my old place. Oh, and I'm training to be a crisis counselor. After you sent Galerius to persuade Ulpius not to take his own life, I was inspired. I just want to spend the rest of my life helping people, like you helped him.
Sounds like a good, noble cause.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Was good to see you again.
And you. Oh, and I hope this isn't too forward, but some of us are going out for a drink after this, if you'd like to join us.
Okay, Amen.
Wonderful. I'll see you soon.
I don't suppose that will be in the game, but alright. There's Livia.
Greetings.
Good to see you looking well, Livia.
Thank you for your kind words and for liberating us all. In all the time I was in the underworld, I never once imagined that I might end up in a place so much like Elysium.
Read any good poems lately?
Ah, you remember that. I'm a little tired of Ovid, but that's all right. I have 2,000 years worth of poetry to catch up on now.
Oh, that's
I'm
actually
already
so
up
cool.
to the 19th century, and am quite enjoying the work of a fellow named Poe. I think I may have found a kindred spirit. Men have called me mad, but the question is not yet settled whether madness is or is not the loftiest intelligence.
Perhaps you're right. What are you doing with this elf these days?
I'm recovering. Octavia was kind enough to let me stay with her for a while, at least until I'm well enough to be independent again.
Okay.
And you. Farewell, friend.
Habash is here as well. I can't believe it. I mean, he has the drip as well. That must be the Egyptian blood in him.
It is an honor to finally meet you, Oracle.
Thanks, Habash.
You know my name? Oh, of course. You are an oracle. You know many things. I too would like to offer my thanks for releasing us from that place and for your role in bringing us here. This world is truly wondrous.
What are you doing with yourself these days?
For a time, I returned to Alexandria, but they have no need of another fisherman, and I came to see there is nothing for me there. Instead, I have decided to follow the custom of your youths and backpack the world. It is a great adventure, and I have met many people from many cultures. I spent the first 25 years of my life avoiding the 42 sins that would deny me access to the afterlife. Now, I think it is time I had some fun.
Sounds like you've earned it.
Indeed.
It's nice to see you again, Habash.
Thank you, Oracle.
I did not expect to see him. Gabriella, I think I've talked to her.
Hello again.
Yeah, and maybe I've talked to Ulpius too.
Good to see you under better circumstances than last time.
No. Good to see you too, Ulpius.
I understand I have you to thank for sending Galerius to save my life. The way you just showed up out of the blue and stopped me from making a terrible mistake. I'll be forever in your debt.
Guess so. So what are you doing these days?
I'm living with Gabriella in Umbria. We finally bought the little vineyard we always dreamed of. It'll be a little while before we know what we're doing, but every day I look at her and this extraordinary new world with all its beauty, and I think, what if I'd given up hope and missed out on all of this? So we're living each day to the fullest. And we end them all the same way, sitting together on our terrace with a glass of our wine, which the locals say is almost drinkable now, and watching the sunset over the rolling hillside. And I couldn't be happier.
Damn, it's kind of a scary thought, but I'm glad you're happy.
Thank you. I wouldn't be here without you.
Sure. It was good to see you.
You too.
Let's talk to Virgil, and I think there is only one person left after him.
It's so nice to finally meet you. I've heard so much about you.
Good to see you, Virgil.
I wanted to thank you personally for getting us out of there.
Okay, what are you doing these days?
I'm studying to be an architect again and living in a beautiful flat in Rotterdam, just down the river from Nijmegen, where I grew up. Of course, it's improved immensely since I was there last. Gleaming futuristic buildings and clean streets full of educated, accepting people. You natives of the 21st century have no idea how fortunate you are.
Yeah, I guess so. Back when he was living, I think he told that it was full of barbarians basically and tribes.
You too. If you're ever in the Netherlands, I'd be happy to show you around. It's the least I could do.
It's the most Netherlands accent I could think of, like ever. Thanks. That's what I kind of was thinking when I first talked to him. Is there anything interesting in the museum? Some statues.
There you are. I hope you enjoyed that. Now, there's one more person I wanted to introduce you to. I think you know her.
Persephone.
Sorry if I frightened you. Just a little joke I've been saving for a long, long time.
What? I recognize that voice.
Allow me to introduce myself properly. I am Proserpina, former goddess of the cycle of life and renewal, and now a regular mortal. I wanted to meet you in person, and thank you for freeing all these people, and me. I hate to think what would have happened to us without your intervention.
You were whispering to me all along.
Indeed. Suffice it to say that while Pluto was controlling the eyes and ears of each golden statue, I was able to control their tongues, and whisper to you when he was distracted. I am sorry my messages were so cryptic. There were only ever brief windows in which I could speak to you without being detected.
You did what you could, thanks. You created the time loop.
I did. I may have given up my immortality, but I still retain my gifts as the goddess of the cycle of life and renewal.
Oh, makes sense.
After witnessing Pluto punish countless poor souls over thousands of years, I knew this generation, the final wave, would not survive. So I tried to give them a way to buy more time. A second chance. Rather, as many second chances as they needed to avoid his wrath.
What became of Pluto?
I don't know what happened to him. I haven't heard from him, and I rather hope it stays that way.
Interesting. So, and Karen?
Oh, she inherited dominion over the underworld. Last time we spoke, she was working on a new world of some kind. She wouldn't say what it was, but I'd be surprised if you don't run into her again. I imagine we all will, one day.
Interesting. It was nice meeting you.
And you, although it feels like I've known you forever. Oh, and one last thing. Do you remember all those golden statues scattered throughout the city?
Oh, it's the people down there, or what?
Good, because they remember you. Well done, my friend. Of all the heroes who ever journeyed to the underworld and returned, none
I
came
don't
close to
even
what
see
you
them.
did. Hercules, Orpheus, Theseus.
I'm just
Aeneas,
looking at else growing. Great. Ending 4 of 4. Tap escape to continue. I guess that's it. The last ending. Let's look at the devs' faces. Judge them maybe for the drip. Oh, there's only 3 faces. Come on. You gotta do better than that. I thought there would be a whole credits with faces, but I guess that's fine. Just messing, I guess. Oh, look. There are. Just not of everyone, I guess. Ancient Roman god. Doesn't seem like they did the faces of people. Theseus. Andres Williams. Not sure if the people here are kind of famous or not. Doesn't seem like it. Maybe they are. Stephen Kelly, I think, is a familiar name. Brendan McCoy. It's Horatius. Hobash Wolf Williams. Malleolus Christopher Kent. He doesn't look like Malleolus much. Philosopher. I thought his name was Philip. Oh, he actually voiced two people. Dennis Kleinman. Dirk Jacobs. I wonder if he's from the Netherlands or something. I guess I'll just keep the credits. Anyways, it's been a really fun game, that's for sure. A message from the developers: we hope you enjoyed the Forgotten City. We'd love to make even better games in the future, and you can help us out by recommending the Forgotten City to a friend or writing a review. The more people play our games, the more we can level up. A very gamer things to say, I guess. And if you'd like to be the first to know when we announce our next project, please be in contact with us. Yeah, I guess I'll check it out. I don't remember what the name of the company is actually, but I guess that's fine. It should be somewhere on the title, I guess. Modern Storyteller. Is that really actually the dev? Modern Storyteller team, I guess. I'll be sure to look for the next game, because this one was definitely fun. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to have another stream. What I'm going to play? I'm thinking about playing Arcanum, but I'm not sure if it's going to work with OBS, so we'll see. And if I can set things up and make it work, basically, then I'll have a stream tomorrow. If not, then something on Wednesday. And this is pretty much everything for the stream. Thanks for watching. If you're watching live, maybe watching the VOD, it's always a pleasure to stream. Hope you are having a great day, and take care.